Let me tell you that story. Once upon a time, deep in the jungle, there was a little Injun that could. And he was chugging his way across the enemy line. Chugga, 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 toot, toot. This little Injun mission was to take some AK-47s and a nuclear payload over the mountain to the 2063 Battalion. Needless to say, there was plenty opposition. You think that stopped the little Injun that could? No sirree, Bob. He just kept chugging along. Chugga, 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 chugga. Toot, toot. Not even when they climbed aboard the train and popped out the eyes of the conductor and blood and snot was ripping out his eye sockets. You think that stopped the little Injun that could? Damn Skippy, he just kept chugging along. Chugga, 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 toot, toot. It wasn't until Charlie rigged the bridge with plastic explosive. Just as the little Injun was making his way across the trestle. Boom! Explosion.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you enjoyed that sound.
I sure did.
That was your request, right?
Love it.
That was what movie was that again?
From Major Pain.
Major Pain.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the rhythm section, everybody. And
that's Derek.
Oh, yeah, and that's Jeff. I forgot about that. And what do we do in this podcast? We talk to musicians in the Memphis area, and try to have a little fun too. With me and Jeff on the front end. Also, Jeff, why don't you tell the audience where they can find us?
Facebook at the Rhythm Section Pod, and YouTube at Derek Michaud Channel, and Spotify and iTunes. And there's a link tree. Click on it. It'll take you right where you want to go.
That's right. A link tree is, in essence, a website for free where you can include all your different platforms on one page. So click the link tree in the description, and it'll take you to everywhere we need to go.
Yeah.
This is recorded at the SRP Studios in Hernando, Mississippi. And SRP is a podcast production agency that, presents this podcast. And if anyone's interested in starting a podcast, Shelby Row Productions also includes audio and video production, editing, graphic design, copywriting, social media management. I do give away free consultations, so check it out, ShelbyRowProductions.com. And as always, parental discretion is advised.
Yes, sir.
So, Jeff, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm awesome. We just had a great time with our guitar player, Jeff Cobble, in here doing his
That's right.
his episode. It'll be out in the near future, and that was a lot of fun.
And today, and right now in this video, we are recording an intro for Allan Bone.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about Allan Bone real quickly. Then you and I have some things we want to say, and then we're going to get deeper into the bio.
Yeah, well, I'll keep this short because the interview will tell you everything you need to know. This guy's an amazing drummer, an amazing person. He's in Every Mother's Nightmare, EMN. He's also in a couple of local cover bands, Chasing Angels, which is a new band that just came out. Mm-hmm. They do some amazing killer 80s rock, and it's what I call vocal rock. I mean, it's not easy. Midnight Train from Memphis. And not only does Allan play drums, he's also a singer. He sings plays drum at the same time, which is amazing to me. Yeah, because that's a talent I don't possess.
It's a double whammy.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, we're gonna get a little deeper into Allan Bone here. A little bit in the intro here before we actually transition to the interview. But you and I had a few things we wanted to talk about today. Yep. And I'm going to let you go first, Jeff, and take the floor, bro.
Sure. First thing I wanted to mention is Steve and Katrina Owens. They are amazing. Steve is big Memphis music supporter. He's always out there pushing content and helping bands and pushing things out there. Well, his wife does artwork on tumblers, and I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. And he made some of these up for us. It's got our our logo and likeness is on it. It's very cool. And I'm in the work talks with him to hopefully get some T-shirts done and maybe some other merchandise. So we're working on that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is it's a somber thing, but it's something we need to do because we're here to represent Memphis music. But we had a death in the music community just recently. Danny Green passed away. I did not know Danny personally, but I have seen nothing but post after post after post from musicians on how they're just crushed and heartbroken that this man passed away. And so condolences to his family and to his music family and to the Memphis music community. You know,
in life, we try to leave a good, path behind us.
Yeah.
Legacy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some people shine brightest after they pass in a way.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who this person was, but like you said, he meant something to a lot of people, and it becomes obvious, and then and that's cool. That means he lived a certain kind of life that impacted people positively. Yeah. And Godspeed to him.
And obviously left a legacy in music.
Right. So it's always telling.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else there?
That's it on my end. You can take it away.
So I also want to highlight some people just by coincidence that's going to be this intro, introducing people.
Okay.
But last episode, I gave Jeff the mic for a minute to tell us a little more about himself, like get to know Jeff. And we learned that he's married, has 2 awesome children, where he's from. And that was a way to, we want our audience to get to know us more,
right.
And I have no problems opening up about my family and history too. I want, even though I do most of the talking here, still people aren't getting my story. That's fine. We got more stories to tell before mine. So today's story is over 2 people, and I want to talk about my production team behind this podcast.
Absolutely.
So I have been owning and operating a podcast production agency for the better part of 4 years now, and over time built a team of editors and writers and just people that can help me with the client-based stuff. But I also hire people directly for me underneath these teams. So I want to talk about my editor and assistant producer, Alex Aerosmith. He lives in Oregon. He started editing for me, 3 years ago. He's been with me for a long time, and he's just the go-to. He's one of my top guys. We built this relationship over time. He's done all kinds of different audio and video production for me, just top-notch. And it was a no-brainer that this was going to him.
Right.
The editing, all the editing you see is Alex Aerosmith. And then as things started ramping up and really starting to get busy, and we realized it was going to be a lot of recording because a lot of cool people are coming in here to talk to us. I had to lean on my team more, and I made Alex my assistant producer.
Okay.
So he's the one that also does some of the writing for the descriptions. He chooses the clips. Cool. I give him a list, bullet point list, like we kind of hit this area, we hit that area, but then I leave it to him to grab clips and then edit them down a little bit.
Right.
I don't know, to present him more. He just has carte blanche in that. So that's what makes him more of like a producer.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him decision-making power,
Right.
And uploads and publishes it on iTunes for us. So he's a huge asset.
Sure.
I couldn't do this without him. I couldn't do it. So thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
And then last but not least, Mondo.
Yep.
Mondo was one of my first hires. I hired him to do a logo for my new business that just became an LLC, which is SRP.
Yep.
And we instantly hit it off.
Yeah.
And it took a little minute. It took a minute to kind of figure out what the branding of the business was. And then once we landed on something, then he took over, and every ounce, every inch of all of my ventures, SRP, Shelby Row Productions, the Real Hernando podcast, and this podcast, every ounce of it is Mondo.
Awesome.
And his designing and his work.
Yeah.
And brand mind and how to, it's more than just a cool design with nice colors. He tries to really like match your brand.
Right.
Right. And I said, for the rhythm section logo with our faces.
Yeah.
All I said was like, here's 2 headshots and make an illustrative version.
And take all of Jeff's hair away. Yeah. That's what you told him.
That's what he did. I kind of told him that. I paid him a little extra to do that.
I didn't have much.
So Mondo is outstanding, and he does all the thumbnails.
Yeah.
He's doing all the thumbnails. Of course, the original cover art, all the banners and icons you see on our socials, our YouTube channel, that's all him.
Yeah.
At some point, this will have a website.
Yeah.
And he will do the front facing. Also, check out DerekJoseph.net. You've heard me and Jeff talk about him. He's the artist we play for, and he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
And Mondo did all of his work.
Yeah.
All of his branding. He revamped Derek. He kind of gave Derek, he renovated Derek's kind of color codes and designs and everything, the front facing part of the website. So that's all Mondo's work as well. Right. So I wanted to highlight these guys because they help make this train run. Right. It's impossible to do all the work, and I'm blessed. Yeah. I'm so blessed and fortunate that I've managed to create something where I have these awesome people to lean on and really just elevate production. I have engineers, Andrew Michael and Sebastian, that help me with all the video and audio stuff over the years. Right. So then over time I collected enough stuff to kind of start this. But,
And people don't really see all the work that goes into something like this. The finished product comes out and you watch it and you're like, well, that's awesome. And that it's a lot like watching professional musicians play on stage. You think, well, that looks like a lot of fun. But you're not thinking about all the other stuff that goes along with it. It's a freaking job.
Yeah, it takes 4 people to operate this. You're the 4th. You're doing all the booking. We've talked about that. Yeah. And there will be a 5th person. At some point, someone on my team will be handling the social media. It's just part of nature. I'm doing the best I can to do the management and the scheduling and publishing. But at some point, not only do I need this person to take that over, but then I already know who I want it to do. Gotcha. His name's Ryan. Will then help create reels so we can get on Instagram better and grow and be smarter at social media, because he's better than me at it. Just like Mondo's better than me, and Alex is better than me. My engineers, I'm the dumbest guy in the room on purpose. So I'm just blessed to have those people in my life and in this business. So Alex, Mondo, thanks for keeping this thing on brand for us and sounding and looking like it does. So, and Jeff, obviously, again to you. Oh man, booking these awesome guests.
Hey, thank you. This wouldn't be happening without you. So you're constantly giving me compliments. You deserve some too. You're doing a lot behind the scenes that people don't see.
Yeah, that's right. So. No, it's cool. It's a labor of love, and I'm committed to make this thing grow. Yeah. And continue to run the team and build the team around it. And I have a couple local hires now. Right. I finally have a local film team that's helping me with other stuff. At some point, they will be involved with this. So we're growing. Yeah. This is going to grow right along with my business. And hopefully if that can remain to grow, this will grow with it. So, all right, enough of that. So, speaking of great booking, this next gentleman that we interviewed is the first recording. Okay, in the first booking, first recording. Even though he's being published out of order, that's just kind of how it goes.
It works that way.
Works out that way sometimes. But this was our first recording. Yeah, with a guest. But during that, you and I were still releasing our little. Derek Jeff show episodes, but Allan broke the studio in for us. Yep, put it that way. So we spoke a little bit about him on the front end, but now let's dig in a little deeper, and then let's swiftly move into the interview here. So again, remind us Allan Bone and what he's been a part of.
Early on, the first time that I saw Allan play was in a local cover band called Grand Theft Audio. No longer together, but they were phenomenal. I think he says in the interview they had a 5-year run, which is pretty standard, pretty typical for a cover band. And then when that was over with, he tells us the story of how he got the EMN gig, which was a great story. Looking forward to people hearing that. And and Midnight Train from Memphis, and Chasing Angels, his newest endeavor, all great bands. Just a super guy, and I don't want people to continue to listen to me talk. Let's get his interview on there, and let's let them hear from him.
I will leave it with this. I'll let everybody know this is something that you don't want to do. You don't want to shine a spotlight in this gentleman's direction.
This is very true. Is that story in the interview? I don't know.
It isn't.
Okay.
But the next time you see Allan, if you're watching and listening to this, and you know Allan, and you see him again, ask him about the spotlight in his face at the crossing.
Spotlight incident,
the crossing in Olive Branch.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
You're right, Jeff. It's enough of us.
Yeah.
Again, thank you, Mondo. Thank you, Alex.
Yes.
And you were thanking Steve and Katrina Owens. And thank you from me too.
Absolutely.
They look awesome. You're so generous to just jump on that and do that for us. So we're going to think of some way to give a couple away. We haven't really talked about that yet, but we got some to give away at some point. So, all right. Thank you all for watching and listening. Now let's finally get to our interview.
Allan Bone.
And enjoy, our interview with Allan Bone. Thank you. Allan Bone, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Glad to be here. Appreciate y'all having me.
So, man, we just watched you play last night at Hadley's, right? And with Chasing Angels.
Yep.
And you show no mercy on those drums, sir.
I get that a lot.
Yeah,
Could you hit them a little harder?
You are one of the hardest hitters I've ever seen, and it works.
When I see videos, it doesn't look to me like I'm hitting them that hard.
Really?
You know, I always go, man, because I know how hard I hit, and everybody that plays with me is like, fuck it, and but it just doesn't. Maybe I need to change my emotions or something so it looks more.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, no, you're doing fine. You're doing just fine. But look, we're going to talk about all your bands and talk gear if you want and nerd out. You wear a Gretsch shirt, so I think that already answers one of my questions. But
I don't own a Gretsch kit anymore. I had one for a while.
Okay,
but I don't at the moment.
So where are you from? Let's start there.
From Memphis.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Memphis. What part of town?
Started out in Whitehaven, moved to Cordova in '76 when there was Germantown Parkway was 2 lanes, and there were still farmhouses and pigs running along the side of the road. And all that,
You just gave away your age.
Yeah.
No shit. '76. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's different. Cordova, there's no mall or anything.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
They talked about that mall, building that mall for decades. Oh, there's going to be a mall right here. And I knew where it was going, but it was just farmland.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing. We had to go into town for provisions. It was like going to Bartlett was a big deal. The only thing, and it was McDonald's, and I think that might have been the only fast food joint.
You don't hear that term much. Provisions. Yeah. We had to go into town for provisions.
Well, there is a reason that you are you're the first guest in the studio. Your episode will probably be the second one that we publish as an interview. But the reason I wanted you in here first was because I really appreciated you. You helped me very early on when I wanted to play live. You were in a band called Grand Theft Audio, cover band. And you let me sit in with you guys on your kit. And it was one of the first times I sat in live with a band, and I was nervous as hell. And I'm sure it showed, but
no, you did great, man.
For people to let somebody do that is it helps musicians come along. And it's one of the reasons I'm playing today. So I appreciated that. I wanted you in here.
Drums it's a brotherhood,
Yeah, a lot of bands don't let that happen, though.
A lot don't. And we went back and forth, what we're going to do, and it just depended on the situation and the person. We didn't just call everybody that owned a guitar up to play, but certain people, certain nights,
sure,
absolutely.
I bet a lot of people don't like you sitting in because you might break something.
It's not that bad.
I've not really broken anything, but I have, things that weren't as tight as they should be and stuff like that.
Yeah. Some lug nuts were loosened.
Yeah.
Just by shock.
I've had kick pedals come off, beaters come out of the pedal, and
man.
And please don't break my cymbals. Please don't break my cymbals.
Well, let's start with Grand Theft Audio. I would gather we're looking at Grand Theft Audio, Midnight Train, to Memphis?
From Memphis.
From Memphis, Chasing Angels, and of course, Every Mother's Nightmare. It was Grand Theft Audio, the one before all of those?
Yeah. I can't, man, I'd have to think about what year we started. It seems like we've been split up about probably 5 years ago.
That sounds right.
And we were together for about 6, maybe 6, maybe 7.
That's
Which
pretty
is
good
a pretty
run.
standard run.
Yeah,
You know,
that was a good run.
I mean, and there were some kind of dumb reasons that led to that band.
No,
splitting
that
up,
doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know.
But that was
a certain female, and
oh no,
yeah,
but that was you and Josh Haynes and Keith Blanchard and Danny Childers was the guy playing keys towards the end, but before him it was Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Long.
Kenny Long. Which
started out John Wright. It was
okay.
John Wright was playing rhythm guitar and keys. Keith was playing bass, Josh guitar, and we played maybe 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Something like that, and he just didn't want to put the work in. He didn't like the loading and unloading and all that. He just didn't want to do it. So
me either.
He's a great, very talented guy, man. That guy plays and sings really well.
Right.
It just wasn't for him. And
sure.
I don't remember how we hooked up with. Oh, I do. There's a guy named Bernard Dissect who was a singer around town back in the day.
Okay.
Real high Led Zeppelin range and all that. And he met this young girl and kind of took her under his wing to help her, a little prodigy kind of thing, a singer. And so he was trying to promote her, and he's friends with Keith, and asked us if we would kind of do a backup band for her so he could showcase her a couple of times.
Okay.
And Kenny was involved in that, and that's how we met him. And it just, it worked.
Yeah.
And then thanks to another female in his life, it was kind of short-lived. And
there's a theme.
Yeah,
there's a theme here.
A bunch of Yokos.
Well, that was another band that you guys didn't really play just the standard stuff. I mean, you guys.
No, that was the whole thing.
That was my next question. What was the set list like?
Man, it was all over the place. It was Night Ranger, it was Foreigner, Van Halen, Queensryche, Journey, Black Crows.
Fun stuff.
Just a lot of.
And who was singing again?
Everybody. We all sang.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like it was evolving.
It was. I probably sang the least.
Yeah.
Or actually, Danny sang the lead. He didn't really want, because he played at Silky's. He did the dueling pianos, and so he sang all the time. So he just really didn't want to care about singing that much.
Right.
He sang a few a night. I probably sang 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And Keith and Josh kind of, did the rest of it. But we had good we had 4-part harmonies whenever we wanted them. And
that's awesome. That's what sets any band apart.
It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because I've always sung backups, and I've been in all these bands where nobody else would sing,
Yeah.
And then when I sing lead, the lead singer can't sing harmony, and it's like, come on, man.
Well,
back me up.
It is so cool to see you back there and sing lead, because I love to play drums, but if I try to sing and play drums at the same time, my whole world falls apart.
I can't do either, sing or sing at the same time. And that's been a problem for me.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, like, that someone wants a singing bass player. I'm just like, shit, man.
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, can you try?" I'm like, "You don't want me trying. Trust me." Like, some people just can't sing, y'all. I'm just saying, and
it's
sucks,
better if when they recognize that and just accept it.
No, we'll take that mic, Derek.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. But so what were the standard venues, like the Dan McGinnis's and the TJ
Mulligan's, Hadley's,
The Crossing.
Silky's, just everywhere.
Silky still have like cover bands?
Yeah, they do out on the patio during the summer months.
Gotcha.
They don't do anything inside except for the dueling pianos,
which is cool. It's a classic feel there.
Man, I can't even imagine the money that comes through that door.
Yeah. Man, I lived in Nashville from 2006 to 2011, and there was before Broadway really exploded to the chaos that it is now.
Yeah.
It used to be fairly chill, relatively speaking, to what Nashville is now. And there was a place called Dueling Banjos. It was so impressive, man. It was revolving, like it'd be like 2 or 3 guys, and one would be on the drums, and then 2 pianos, and people just calling out songs, and they're just nailing them, and they rotate, and next thing you know, this guy's playing bass and drums, and they're just rotating around. It was more than just pianos.
Right.
And it was just amazing how many songs these guys knew. They played every instrument. Yeah, so
some people have that photographic memory. Like Josh Haynes is one of those guys. Once he plays something once, it's just locked in.
Yeah.
And he'll go, I'll try to fake it.
Yeah.
Blisters the lead.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, he's going to be here.
I hate those guys.
Yeah. Well, you're one of them. What are you talking about? I was telling him this morning, I said, I don't know how in the hell a guy can be in 4 bands, remember all the drum parts, the 4 different bands, work a day job, and do all the things that people just have going on in life. I'm lucky to remember the music from one band. So you're doing a pretty damn good job.
So what do you do outside of music?
I build cabinets. I've been doing cabinets and trim forever.
Yeah. Self-employed?
I was for the longest time, and I guess about the time the lockdowns happened initially, I got scared because it took me back to the recession of 08 where I was bad.
Right.
I was self-employed and had a lot going on and just thought it was, I had accepted that that's just how it is. Cool. I've got all this work and never a problem, turning it away all the time. And then boom.
Yeah.
So when the lockdowns happened, I kind of froze up. And this guy that I've known forever, that I started out working for at 18. He was my first, how I got into trim carpentry.
Okay.
Still, he's got a cabinet shop and just needing help all the time. So,
Okay. I didn't know you did that. My dad was a trim carpenter and cabinet maker, so I grew up doing cabinets. So I get it.
Yeah. So he, I've got so much going on at night with music and everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Go home and drawings and estimates, and I got tired of it. So
the running of the business.
Yeah. So it's just I show up and go to work and clock out, and go home, and then I can do whatever I want.
It's flexible, so you can travel.
Yeah. That was the thing. It's like, look, I'm not going to be here at 7. I'm not going to be here. I'm not a 7 a.m. guy because chances are I'm not going to bed till 1 or 2.
Right.
So I'll be here between 8 and 9, and he's fine with it.
That's great.
And he in the traveling, he's just happy to have help.
Yeah.
So tell us more about Midnight Train from Memphis.
A local cover band started by Karen Brown. I think she's 11 or 12 years now. And she's had a plethora of musicians come and go. Chip Thomas played with her, Jimmy Bridges, Tony Rossi.
I know Tony.
You know Tony? Yeah, he played with her for a while. And, she called me a few times to fill in years ago, and I did. And always enjoyed playing with them. And after when Grand Theft broke up, I was playing with Full Circle. That's another one we should mention.
Yep.
And it was not too long into that when I got the EMN call, and they didn't like the fact that I shouldn't say that. There was conflict with scheduling, and I said, hey, I completely understand if y'all don't want to deal with that. And they decided they didn't. So, I went on the other way. But so after that, Karen and her husband, Dennis, really good friends. He runs sound and lights and everything for the band. They were calling me, really wanting me in the band. And I explained the situation to them. Just, EMN takes priority and if you're willing to work around that. And they said, yeah, let's do it. So,
sure.
They're like family now.
It's nice when it happens organically like that, because then you're on the same page.
Yeah.
They understand what's your priority.
Yeah. And David Gregory's the bass player, Chris Hinkle's playing guitar, and we have a great time.
Yeah.
And that's obviously we're not doing it for the money. So, if you're not having fun, I don't want to be in it.
Well, that's the only band that you're in that I haven't seen. And we will get out to see one of those shows as well. Derek and I have made a pact that now that we're doing this, we're going to force ourselves to get off our ass and get out and see more live music.
Yeah. I need to be educated on the original scene.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited about, And so some context. Jeff invited me to go out with him to Neil's to see that benefit. I forget what the benefit was, but it was Elevation, Memphis, Fast Mothers, Every Mother's Nightmare,
Beaver Tree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that was the first time I saw you play, and the whole run. It was really my first time. Also, like, oh, okay, this is the Memphis rock scene,
right?
I've just lived a life of cover bands. That's just been my thing, and it was eye-opening. And then now starting this, it's like, I want to get to know more of it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
and
it's always been a good scene here. I mean, there was back when we were coming up, it was crazy playing the New Daisy and the Stage Stop and all those places, man.
Rascals.
Yeah. Up the stairs. That was great. What a fun load in.
I saw people get thrown down those stairs a few times.
I saw people,
were you one of them?
Nope. I knew better.
I saw people stumble and roll down those stairs.
Yeah.
But it was a big scene. Roxy Blue, all those bands back then, and then I guess we all kind of got a little older, got married, and had kids, and it kind of lightened up for a while, and now we're all back to where we can get back out. And
unfortunately, there's not that younger generation coming in from behind.
Not like it was.
Not
man.
like
It's really depressing to me. There are some youngsters that are still playing.
Well, here's what we're up against, right? Obviously, we got cell phones, and I have a teenager. I have a 14-year-old, so I know all about TikTok, right? But when the Grammys, the award for music,
right,
throttles all the rock categories and puts it on the untelevised portion, what the fuck are you supposed to do with that?
Right.
And that's what you're up against, and Stranger Things and TikTok is proof that if you just put it out there, the kids will like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like my daughter out of nowhere, starts playing Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
But where the hell did you get And she thought it was a new song.
Oh yeah.
New band.
Right.
And she's like, so much fun. This is so cool. I'm like, this is a 30-year-old band. And it almost turned her off. Like she's oh really? No, but it's just like give them a chance to want to listen to it.
Right.
But whoever's in power, the Grammys decided it's not cool enough, I guess.
Yeah.
So sucks.
That's one of the girls that works at Hadley's has I think she's like 16, 17-year-old daughter. She doesn't live here. She lives, I don't know. But anyway, she is a huge EMN fan. Oh. I mean, just loves Resurrect.
Yeah.
I sent her some sticks and a drum head and stuff recently, and she just thought it was the coolest thing. It's like, man, that's cool if we can connect with 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
But the problem is, that's the problem with the music industry now, is it's not shoved in your face like it used to be on MTV. Right. You have to go search it out individually. And that's the part that, we haven't figured out yet.
Well, and the good news is that Memphis is absolutely full of it. There's a lot of great original music here.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will get out and let people know that, and we'll start helping fill these places up with people wanting to hear this stuff because it's great.
There's some just great musicians here. Always has been. So y'all should have no problem, filling up your calendar with.
Oh, we already have it.
Yeah,
we're booked through January almost.
We're loving it.
Yeah, we had to stop because we want to get through some recordings and leave some openings for people.
Right.
Yeah.
If we could do 2 interviews a week, me and my team could afford that and have the time to do that, we would. But also it was just I built this studio. This is like we're finally starting to use it. So this was another reason for doing something like this, so I can just get some people in here. But why not get some musicians in here? So it's fun. What was the other band that you mentioned? Something Circle.
Full Circle.
Full Circle. What's more about that band?
Let's see. They started out many years ago. They were called Double or Nothing, and they played at Flashbacks a lot. And I was freshly divorced and hanging out there, and their drummer had some shoulder problems, and he had to be out for a couple of months, and they got me to fill in. And that's kind of how I got back out and started playing again after having kids and getting divorced and everything. And so they've just evolved. When they were Smoking Jane, they were Money Shot or Cover Shot or something. I can't remember all the names. And then, morphed into Full Circle. And I played with them, I don't even think it was a year. It may have been a year, but it wasn't long.
Yeah.
And great band, great singer.
I've met those guys. I actually went
really good players
and auditioned for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. They're good guys.
Yeah.
That was early in my.
I think I may have suggested you. It's been a while. But
thank you much.
Glad to do it. They had the hardest time.
Now, if you'll put my name in the hat with Rick when he gets tired of you,
I owe Allan $20 for saying that now. So when did you start playing? Let's start there. Like, how old were you?
14.
Okay, yeah, that's about my age too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Been playing long enough. I should be a lot better than I am. But you know, it's fun, and I just, it's one of those deals, man. Like everybody, I saw Buddy Rich on the Tonight Show and was just like, holy shit.
Oh,
and
dude,
then,
that guy's crazy. Yeah.
And then Peter Criss, that was what really, really got me. And I begged my parents for drums for like 4 years. Yeah. Every birthday, every Christmas, please, please, please. And just give me the little paper kit out of the Sears catalog, whatever, just something to hit. And finally, I had a buddy that had a little 4-piece kit that he was selling. It was my birthday. And I was like, Mom, come on.
Right.
And I worked it because I was a baby boy. And so she caved in, paid $50 for this little kit. And bam,
cool.
I just was in love. And
I know you have a Pearl kit, at least one Pearl kit now. Is that your go-to? Or
that was my GTA. That was my workhorse kit for years.
Yep. I've played on that kit.
Yeah. I'll probably never get rid of that one just because it's just, it's a good kit. Finally got the kick drums. Kick drum gave me trouble. It's 24 by 18.
Why was it giving you trouble?
Just couldn't get the tone that I wanted out of it. And I finally found the right head combination, and it's real sweet now.
Cool.
But
so Peter Criss, Kiss.
Oh yeah,
was that your first impactful
That was my first
band?
concert, 79, and then my next one was Ozzy in 80, right after Randy died, like a month after Randy died.
Wow.
They had Brad Gillis diary tour, and that was life changing.
Sure.
They opened up with that, the Diary of a Madman, the opera stuff, and then, Tommy kicks into Over the Mountain. It was holy shit.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
What year was that?
That was either 80, I guess it was 82.
Wow. Classic Ozzy, right?
Man. Yeah. The castle set and everything was just badass.
So when you, growing up playing, was there like a high school band or something that you kind of really got you going, or?
I jammed with a couple of guys, 2 guitar player friends of mine, and we could not find a bass player, could not find a singer. But man, we were playing keg parties and shit, playing Priest and Maiden and Metallica and, and Scorpions and Van Halen, and just get up there and jam.
Right.
And that was one of the first keg party we played. We set up in this dude's living room, the parents are out of town. It's a typical story. Right. And, we probably played for 2 hours, and everybody's sitting around drinking, smoking, just having a good time.
Right.
And we stopped, and I go to the keg to get a beer, and there's like 5 chicks around me that would never speak to me before. And I was like, all right, maybe there's something to this.
Have you ever seen that meme out there on Facebook where it's like, it's not a stick figure, but the male female emblem that you see on bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
And there's the lead singer who has 2 chicks on each side. The guitar player has 2 on one side. The drummer has 1 on each side. The bass player has nobody.
Yeah.
And the keyboard player has 3 cats. So, but I'm like, at least the keyboard player had something.
Right.
Like the bass player is alone. And I was like, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
He may be the smartest one.
So let's talk about before we're bridging our way to Every Mother's Nightmare, because then what I should have mentioned on the front end is we're going to play a song of the latest album that you're on. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about Chasing Angels, because it's fresh on our mind. We just saw you play last night. It's the second show, and you guys kicked major ass.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
How did that come to be? Like just kind of like a random.
I think Carrie posted a video of Chasing Angels playing at Stage Stop, however many years ago that was. And it was Max and Carrie and Jimmy Rogers playing drums, and I don't know who else was in the band. But it was Jet City Woman that they posted. And I saw it, and I was like, cool. And Carrie said something like, we're bringing some of this stuff back or something. I was like, that's cool. I would, that's my kind of stuff. I'd like to see it. And next thing you know, John Davis, who's playing bass now, he's in Fast Mothers.
Right.
He calls me and goes, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Because this other guy that has been practicing with us is just not into it, I don't think. And he's not putting in the time, and we need somebody that really wants to do it. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went down and practice, and it went great. You know, we practiced 3 or 4 times, and then played that show, and then hadn't played with them for 6 months, and we threw it together for this. And
yeah, man, it was great.
We're going to try to start practicing consistently, and I think it would be really good. You know.
Yeah. Well, shout out to all the members of that band. Carrie Scarborough, man, you lit it up last night.
He's a shredder.
And Max.
Yeah. And Steve Taylor.
Yeah.
And John Davis.
Yeah.
It's a good, man, I just love it. They're all really good musicians.
And these songs aren't usually covered because there's not very many Maxes in the world that can sing that stuff.
It's
and
not
he
easy.
he lit it up last night. Impressive.
Yeah, before you showed up, we recorded just a dual host episode. We talked about you guys for sure.
That's why I thought it would be good, you know, when you asked me, you know, for a Sunday, and I thought, well, if you guys come out, then probably give us a little more content. You know?
A lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and it's networking. Yeah, we're gonna be showing our faces more and more. Like, I'm gonna try to get out next weekend to see Grape. They're playing.
I heard they're really good.
Yeah. They shared a bill with
the Fast Mothers here recently.
Yeah, at Sister Hazel. No,
Ernestine Hazel's. Yeah.
Sister Hazel. That's a band from the 90s.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, Every Mother's Nightmare.
Yeah.
Let's get there. And I did as much research as I could for you, and I found one article from High Vol Music.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Oh yeah, that's our old.
So I kind of know. I know the story.
Label.
It's a story of right place, right time, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
So you were just sitting in a bar hanging out with a buddy, and
I was at Hadley's.
Oh, that's the bar, because it doesn't mention the name specifically in here.
I was at TJ Mulligan's hanging out with Wayne Walker and Tracy Rubel from Fast Mothers, and you know, we're just sitting around drinking, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to go to Hadley's. You want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we go over there. We're sitting out on the patio because smoking outside, and Rick and Kim came walking up, and Tracy and Rick have known each other forever, and Wayne. And so they started talking, and Tracy goes, "How's the band going?" And he goes, "We're looking for a drummer." And Tracy goes, "That's your guy." I was standing like 4 feet away. He goes,
"Oh, wow.
There he is right there." And so we talked for a minute, and nothing serious. And I didn't think much of it actually, because he never really, he didn't hit me up for any info or anything. And a couple weeks later, Craig Chambers called me. Craig's been, probably Rick's best friend for 20-something years now. And Craig and I went to high school together.
Okay.
Hadn't, I didn't really see him much after that, but I've known him, since 16 or something. And he calls me up and goes, "Hey, are you interested?" Or he messaged me on Facebook and goes, "What's your availability?" And I said, "I'm self-employed. My kids are grown, and I have a passport." So, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And so what happened, they had gotten their original drummer, Jim Phipps, had come back. And
I remember when that happened.
So, I guess everything was going pretty good. And they had a lot of shows lined up, and they had this one run, like 6 or 7 days, 5 shows or something. And everybody shows up for bus call except Jim. And they're going, "Wait, where's the drummer?" And they call him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm at work, man. I'm not gonna be able to make it."
Oh my God.
The day they were leaving, I didn't even, nothing, just pretty much screwed them hard. So there was a lot of backlash from having to cancel those shows last minute.
They couldn't do anything about that.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do? There's not, And so they were right in the middle of trying to recover from that and trying to get ready. They had another run coming up, and they had like a week and a half or something. So from the day I met with Craig, and he gave me some CDs and kind of was like, learn this. And I think I had 3 days, and it was like a 16 or 18 song set, I think. And man, I just woodshedded.
Yeah.
And I went in and they had somebody else in, I think, and it just wasn't going. They said they really didn't get through 2 songs, and they just kept trying, but it just wasn't happening. Yeah. And so I went in, and we blistered like 8 in a row, and then kind of fumbled through 4 or 5 more, and they're, so they said, "All right, well, if you can do this, we'll, go out on this run and see how it goes." And so we played Thursday night somewhere and got back on the bus, and they said, There's your gig if you want it. So.
Yeah.
And when was this?
This was, I've been in the band 4 years now. So
Nice.
it was 2018.
And how much road work do y'all do?
Not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously with COVID,
Sure.
very little here in the last 2 years we've had here and there, but
Right.
it's just sucked.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
been that way for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did it was a year ago in last weekend of July, a year ago, we went and did an outdoor festival in Ohio. And our record label owner and his wife came down, and they lived up in the Pennsylvania area, Mechanicsburg or something. And they came down, and we did we did like 2 shows or something, and we went home, and we got home, and 3 of our guys had COVID.
Oh, man.
And it was the Delta variant,
Yeah.
and they all 3 thought they were going to die.
Mm.
I mean, they just said, I've never been so sick. I really thought I was going to die.
Wow.
Well, it turns out we weren't hearing anything from the record label, and we were supposed to have these conference calls set up. We talked about it at that show. Turns out he and his wife both had it, and they both passed away 9 days apart.
Oh my goodness.
They were
Man.
both on ventilators for like a month,
Wow.
and then he passed, and then she died 9 days later.
Wow.
So it's taken a while to get the family to release us but we've just finally got the official legal, release and everything. And
So you guys are independent?
well, we signed with Sony Darkstar. So we just re-released Resurrect the Faithful. Like it's been about a month ago,
Okay.
and we're gonna, we started recording for the new record.
You hoping to tour it? Get back
Oh yeah,
up there?
I mean that's what a lot of the reason we didn't get to tour much this summer is because of the legalities trying to get out from under the High Vol label, because we had all of our social media was frozen, website was down, we just had nothing, and it's hard to go, hey, we want you to book this band, and the venue goes, okay, well, what's the website? Oh, well, you can't look at the website.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's just
Yeah.
So anyway, we're hoping for a better 2023.
Well, you want to play Resurrect the Faithful?
Let's do it. So what I'm going to do here is, to those listening, play a song here.
Title track.
The title track of their latest album called, what is it? Where is it? Resurrect the Faithful. Yep. And then those who are watching, as this song plays, I'm going to be throwing up some photos of Allan and Every Mother's Nightmare as sort of a little slideshow.
And let's plug the members. Allan, tell everybody who's in the band.
Rick Rule,
Yep.
lead vocals. He's the guy that started it all.
Yep.
Wrote the song in the bathroom that hit big on MTV,
Yeah.
which is why we're still here doing this.
Yep.
Troy Fleming is bass. He's been in the band, I think, 26 years.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, he's not original, but he's
He's close.
And then Gunnar Butler on guitar and John Guttery on guitar.
All right.
And they're all on this album, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's
Awesome.
let's
We
check
wrote
it
all
out.
of it in the practice room and just group effort.
All right, man. Let's check it out.
There's something wrong inside of my head. All the lines intertwined and lead back to nowhere. So make no mistake, I cannot wait to get my hands on you. I'm out of the cage, I'm gonna fight. I can't stop now. I'm in a rage, I wanna say to you. Let's just say to you.
All right, that was Resurrect the Faithful. Thanks for letting us play that, Allan.
Absolutely. Thanks for playing it.
Yes, sir. And while we were listening, Jeff, you had a great question.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about going in the studio to record that album. I've always wanted to go in the studio and record a big.
It was my first time.
Yeah.
The only other recording I did was in Hollywood when I was with Tokyo Rose, and it was probably 1988.
Yeah.
We did a 2-song demo.
Yeah.
And it was in this guy's house. He had this big old house, and he was a big drum machine guy. He's like, I don't do live drums. And we're like, well, then you're not doing our demo, because I'm be damned if I'm going to put all this money into it and all this time and
not be on it.
Fucking drum machine. Yeah. And he's like, well, I'll come out to one of your practices, but you got to, if your meter's not there, then we're not going to be able to do it. Okay. Right. So he came out and we played about 5 songs and he goes, okay. And, but he didn't have the setup. He didn't have the mics or anything. So our guitar player was working in artist relations at Guitar Center Hollywood. And so he was able to borrow some mics, but only for this, short window. So long story short, I'm recording drums at 7:00 in the morning on like a Wednesday,
right?
At this guy's house. I go in and set up my drums. We mic it up. I play these tracks, tear it down, run the mics back to Guitar Center, and go to work. And it was just like not the ideal situation. But
so this new experience was better than that.
Much better. Yeah. Shout out to Supernova Sound, Matt Montgomery and David Cowell. And
where are they located?
They're out in the Bolton area, off of Brunswick Road.
Okay.
Bolton High School.
Okay.
Right down the street from there.
I know where it's at.
A little out of the way. You never know it was there. A little dead end road. It's just off the tracks. But man, they're just a pleasure to work with. Dave is amazing. We kind of call him the fifth, sixth. How many members we have? 6th member of the band.
Yeah.
Because he just, he's just got it.
Yeah. And that's what a producer should be.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's real open to, he doesn't try to push anything, we do our thing and he adds.
How long did it take to track?
We had the studio I want to say we had it for 3 months. So we were pretty much in there. I think that's right. Because we were shocked when the label guy goes, hey, we went in and recorded Breathe, which is the 2nd track on the record, just to see how it went. Yeah. And man, we heard the mix, we were like,
well, that's old school, man. Going into a studio for 3 months. That's the way they used to do it back in the day. And you don't hear about that a lot now.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It was unheard of to us, and we were just.
It really gives you some time to.
Yeah. So you don't, you've got time to kind of develop things a little bit and try, experiment a little bit. And most of that stuff we already had written. There's a couple of things that were really close. Frey was one of them. We were stuck on the bridge, and we went in, and that's where Dave just goes, oh, try this. And we were just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yep. Do it. And then we wrote one. There's a song called When It Goes Away that we were, as usual, John's picking around, playing a riff, and we start playing a little bit, and Rick comes in, he's got a recording studio we practice at his house, and so we demo all the time just so we don't lose the ideas, which is a really cool situation, that we can do that. Right. But anyway, we're playing this song, and he comes running in and grabs a mic and starts singing When It Goes Away, and it was just like, I got chills, and I started singing a harmony on it. We were like, hell yeah, that's, well, we didn't record that. And so we came back like a week later, and we couldn't find it. We were like, what were we playing? It was one of those, we're like, pissed. Right. And still had the melody and, the vocal part. And we were he and I were bound and determined that that song was going to be on the record. So we got in the studio and started working with Dave on it. And we actually wrote it in an hour or two. And they worked out the guitar parts and the arrangement. And I had to go in and play drums on it. And that was the hardest one to track because I didn't know it. Right. And I had to come up with, my parts right there. So yeah, just do it now. What's the problem?
Well, the album turned out amazing. Sounds really, really awesome.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
How long was it to be mixed?
How long?
Yeah. How long was it mixed for?
That's an interesting question because we finished it up right before COVID. And so we were about to start mixing, and COVID hit full force, lockdowns, the whole thing. So we were, nobody knew. So we were all kind of, scared. And Dave was just like, look, I'm going to mix this. He found this app called FilePass. But he would do a mix and he would send it to us. And on FilePass, you can leave comments in real time. Hey, right here at 2:04, I want to hear this more or whatever, And so it really sucked that we had to do it that way.
Right.
But that's just how we had to do it. And so, but, overall, I'm real happy with it.
This sounds awesome.
I would rather, with the new stuff, I'm going to be sitting right there because it's a whole lot easier to go, we're right here, turn up the whatever.
So we don't want to give away any secrets here, but what does the future look like here? You're working on new music. And
we are.
You're going to be going into the studio soon.
We just came out of the studio 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
I guess October 24th. I think we went in and we were there for a week and we cut 2 new songs.
Oh, okay.
So they were the first 2 that will be on the next album. We'll be back in January. Because of Supernova, they're booked out almost 2 years pretty much.
Yeah.
They leave some holes for stuff like this.
Right.
But so anyway, we're going to go back in about once every, a quarter, every couple months or something and do 2 songs. So probably by around the schedule looks like by October, we'll have 10 new songs tracked. And
awesome. 10 is what you're looking to do? 10 songs?
Yeah, there's 11 on Resurrect because we had 10 and then we decided to redo Love.
Yeah.
Just the updated version.
Well, as soon as it's out, I vote you come back for another interview.
Yeah, this is not a one and done type of interview podcast.
Maybe bring Rick Rule with you.
Yeah, we want to.
Man, I don't know if you want to do that.
We want the usual suspects. We want people to come back and have fun and get to know us, and we get to know you guys.
Absolutely.
And
well, it's a cool thing that you guys are doing. I think it's gonna be really good, and I think it's gonna help a lot of people and open a lot of people up to different artists, and I think it's cool.
We certainly hope so. Yep. And we're having fun doing it too.
Yeah.
Well, this is brand new, for us as a team and this podcast. So it's going to be cool. We're going to enjoy this. We'll close it out here. Is there anything else you want to say there, Allan? Any call outs or shout outs you want to give? Or
my people know who they are. I appreciate all of you. And
Well, thank you for coming and doing this.
My pleasure.
And thank you for letting me sit in on your kit in my early days. It meant a lot.
So I should have done this on the front end. Let's talk about, we can find you on Facebook, allan.bone.3. I think that's the link.
That's new.
Just my name.
And then
Instagram is Allan Bone Drums.
Okay.
And then our website is emn.rocks.
.rocks. That's right. emn.rocks. Go check it out. And then I'm sure once you get on the website, you got links to
my OnlyFans.
everything.
You can probably find that. Just search my name.
Yeah. Every mother's nightmare. And when you see these guys, you're going to understand why they named the band that.
That's right. And bring some extra sticks, Allan, because
I keep a bag full.
Yeah.
Thanks, Allan. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, my pleasure.